Hello everyone. With the storyline entering the English dub, a full review will follow once all its episodes are online. I thought it would be a good idea to address this arc. Though it did do a lot to improve upon the issues I had with previous storylines, there are other areas that could still use improvement. Here, my thoughts on Pokémon Horizons Terastal Debut, and why it's the most conflicted I've ever felt about this anime so far. As usual, let's start with what's improved and what works. The animation is still strongest aspect, and though others have denied the Terror League suggests that a pivot did happen with their plans to an extent for the story. I actually was in favor of using the story as a soft reset that not only brought in more aspects from the games, but also seemed designed to take a sledgehammer to each issue I had with the new leads. Dot viewing social interactions and waste of time. Iono being paired with her for one of the challenges left her with no choice but to crack open that beer like an egg. Roy acting impulsive and rushing headfirst into scenarios without a plan. Rhyme is easily able to read that line of attack and causes him to reevaluate why he's on his adventure to start with. Lika being hesitant to engage with others, especially in battle. Both her mentors and her enemies are not exercising restraint with her because she's new. That becomes a catalyst for the rest of the story thus far. I also appreciate the inclusion of Nimona and Penny as well, as those are two of my favorite characters in Scarlet and Violet video games. That's not to say I don't still have issues with the story. Call me crazy, but I'm not among those who thinks Horizons fixed quote-unquote the issues we all perceived with the previous seasons and journeys in particular. I'm among those who maintain they were exacerbated, or at least the issues manifest in different ways. The short reason is this. A young viewer likely won't care for boring dealings at Freed's former workplace, and an older viewer likely won't be amused by scenes involving of our room absconding with Dot's Nidorina costume. The longer reason starts like this. Even kids can tell when a story isn't like its source material, and there are older viewers like me who are not above overlooking Horizon's flaws. It's odd that this anime still insists on using fan-favorite aspects from the game in such a perfunctory way, such as Arven not having any lines, the box legendaries of Scarlet and Violet being conspicuous by their absence so far, and changing others in ways that didn't need to be changed, with Grusha being among the most divisive. I will touch on this further in a full review, as well as when my Fraser Rising concludes, but in lots of ways, this anime is doing a bigger disservice to Generation 9 than its predecessor did to Generation 8. I can't say I'm entirely surprised about plans to wrap it up and go back to basics with the next anime. I will address that idea at a later date in this year, but for now, I think it's unlikely that Horizons will get a movie, and more likely that the anime as a whole will get a reboot, say, like what James Gunn is doing with Superman in the DC Universe. You might also be wondering why I'm not mentioning ratings regards to storyline. It turns out they actually stopped reporting the numbers nearly a year ago. I know there's the whole transition to digital streaming, but Horizons anime hasn't cracked the top 10 list either on the main list or the kids list on Netflix in ages. There's only so much blame to affix to their staggered release schedule, and I did theorize correctly that people would direct their attention elsewhere if things continued like this. Other reimagined stories on Netflix alone have gotten the audience that Horizon was targeting, include originals like Sonic Prime and Jurassic World Chaos Theory, was getting recent hits such as Tales of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Star Trek Prodigy. One last thing to mention is this. Despite the creative license taken, This storyline is honestly the adaptation of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet that Horizon should have been from the start. That has honestly been the bigger adjustment to me than the changes in anchor characters and story structure. The success of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has proven that giving people what they want does have its advantages, admittedly. Overall, the Terastal debut may be the best one they've done so far, but at the same time, it demonstrates my overall feelings towards Pokémon Horizons. There are elements that really work, but many others that keep it from reaching its full potential. I am not certain whether or not the next anime will bring back You Know Who, or just adapt the games directly, either of which I would support, but I personally do not see the Horizons model being duplicated for future iterations come Generation 10. That is all for now, and I'm back to my 33rd birthday week. Take care, everyone.